Collins. And finally, Chair of the Board, Rachel Chernos-Lynn. Welcome to Lakeshore Collegiate Institute. At Lakeshore Collegiate, staff and administrators are dedicated to fostering a learning environment that goes beyond the traditional academic boundaries. LCI's commitment to excellence is reflected in the rigorous curriculum offered here, one that seamlessly integrates the arts, technology, co-op experiences, and athletics. This approach ensures our students not only excel academically, but also develop a well-rounded skill set that will serve them well in an ever-evolving world. What sets Lakeshore Collegiate Institute apart is its dedication to providing unique pathways for our students to flourish, both inside and outside the classroom. Through the Specialist High Skills Major SISM program, LCI students have the exceptional opportunity to specialize their studies in one of 6 diverse sectors: construction technology, hospitality and tourism, cosmetology and aesthetics, culinary arts, business leadership, information and communication technologies, as well as transportation and auto mechanics. This innovative program empowers LCI students to gain industry-recognized certification and training, participate in apprenticeship opportunities, and develop essential employability skills through the cooperative education. I'm excited to hear more about today's announcement. Thank you all for joining us here today at LCI. And without further ado, I would like to welcome the Honourable Minister Lecce to say a few words.
Good morning, and thank you all. Appreciate that introduction, Trustee Nunziata. In an ever-changing global economy, we are seizing the moment here in Ontario by implementing a strategy to graduate students with real life and job skills that will lead them into good-paying jobs. With nearly $700 million more in public education for the coming school year, the hiring of 2,000 additional teachers, and a back-to-basics focus on boosting reading, writing, and math, and STEM education, we know that above all, learning starts with students being in class. It's why we continue to make the case that the tentative agreement reached with OSSTF, our public high school teachers, on that process will provide stability. It's the best outcome for Ontario students who can benefit from in-person learning, academically, mentally, physically, and developmentally. Now, I'm proud to be here with the Premier and Minister McNaughton as students head back to class with more hands-on learning that is linked to real-life job skills in the emerging and expanding industries. Our government unveiled a series of curriculum updates that now mandate financial literacy in every grade, teaching students how to code, learning about robotics and AI, entrepreneurship and digital literacy, and critical thinking skills so students know how to think, not what to think. Now, along with Ontario's new language curriculum that brings back phonics and cursive writing, we have 700 more literacy-focused educators to help kids read and write. Now, next September, we're introducing a mandatory requirement that all students will take at least one technological education course in either grade 9 or 10 that will significantly help students access new pathways to emerging jobs. Now, our government is creating the conditions for economic growth. With the advent and expansion of EV and advanced manufacturing and nuclear and aerospace sectors, our focus is to help build the skilled workforce we need to grow our economy. And by better connecting learning in the classroom to the job market, young people can graduate with a competitive advantage, having benefited from more applied, hands-on, STEM-focused learning. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce Preston Lawrence, who's a student success story here from Lakeshore Collegiate Institute and the lead carpenter of Barbosa Carpentry. Thank you so much.
Good morning. I'm Preston Lawrence. I'm a lead carpenter of the Barbosa Carpentry. I actually graduated at this amazing school, Lakeshore Collegiate, and I took part in the OEAP program with my teacher, Matt Bradley, over there, and it really prepared me for the job site and really made me a lot better once I stepped foot on the job site, because it gave me a better understanding of the tools and a better understanding of the process of building. So it really pushed me and helped me to become the person I am today, 3 years into the job, and I love every second. It really I'd like to introduce the Minister McNaughton. I'm sorry.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Preston. Another round of applause for Preston, who's doing a great job building Ontario. Preston, it's people like you that really are the everyday heroes building Ontario. It's great to be here today at Lakeshore Collegiate Institute alongside Trustee Patrick Nunziata and other leaders of the TDSB, including our amazing OEAP coordinators, as well as my colleague, Parliamentary Assistant Deepak Anand. Minister Lecce, thank you for everything you're doing to train the next generation of workers here in the province. And of course, our Premier, Doug Ford. It's no secret that we're facing a historic labour shortage in the trades, with 1 in 3 journey persons aged 55 or older and nearing retirement. While many young people only are finding out about the trades after years of pursuing other professions and literally accumulating thousands of dollars in student debt. That is why, under the strong leadership of Premier Ford, I'm pleased to announce our government is investing $24 million in our apprenticeship capital grant program, helping 66 colleges, unions, and training institutions across our province upgrade their equipment and build state-of-the-art facilities to support hands-on learning for students and apprentices, ensuring graduates from schools like Lakeshore Collegiate continue to receive world-class training as they prepare for life-changing careers. Our efforts to introduce more young people to jobs of the future are clearly working. New apprenticeship registrations are up by 24% compared to last year to 27,319. And as a father of a girl, I'm proud to say we've increased the number of women registering to be apprentices by almost 30% in 1 year to 3,500. For far too long, parents and students have been told the only way to succeed in life is by going to university and getting a degree. This is simply not true. The skilled trades open a world of opportunity to anyone who wants a shot at a better job and bigger paycheck. Now I'm excited to turn things over to Premier Ford to talk about this historic announcement today we're making in the trades and just more of the details on that. So Premier, over to you.
Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you, Minister McNaughton, for that introduction. And on behalf of Minister McNaughton and Minister Lecce and MPP Deepak Anand, I want to thank Principal Van Dyke and the whole team at Lakeshore Collegiate Institute for hosting us today. And, you know, Mr. Van Dyke, it brings back memories when I walked by and I saw the Toronto Maple Leafs out there practicing, but all the football games I played out there against you folks, and yes, you probably kicked our butts a few times back then. But you know, the back to school. If everyone's back to school, just a few days ago. I know this is a busy time and an exciting time for you and your staff getting ready. I want to thank you for all your hard work, and I want to wish everyone, the principals and the teachers and support staff, students and families, a fantastic school year ahead. I also want to acknowledge Trustee Patrick Nunziata. As I mentioned, I worked a long time with your aunt there, Patrick, great person. And Preston. Preston, what a great story. And you know something, stick to carpentry because it's a lot easier than politics. Right? You're a great speaker there, my friend. And thank you for sharing that with us. And friends, we need more people like Preston in Ontario. We need more young people like him entering the skilled trades, because everyone in this room knows our province is growing at an unprecedented pace. Last year alone, our population grew by more than 500,000 people, and I know that number is not even accurate. I'm hearing numbers up towards 1 million now, and I won't get into the weeds, but there's actually more than 500,000 a year coming now. At this rate, Ontario will add over 5 million more people in the next 10 years. It's like adding almost 2 cities of Toronto and in Ontario here. At the same time, we're attracting thousands of new jobs and billions of dollars in new investments, including the $25 billion in the electric vehicle and battery sector, the $3 billion in the life sciences. We're seeing billions of dollars invested in the tech sector as well. Manufacturing, we created more manufacturing jobs last month in all 50 states combined in the U.S. And as our population grows, as our economy grows, we need to make sure our infrastructure keeps up. So we're working closely with our cities and the municipalities to build at least minimum 1.5 million homes by 2031, so young people and newcomers can realize the dream of home ownership sooner than later. And across Ontario, we've embarked on the most ambitious capital plan in the province's history. We're investing nearly $50 billion to support more than 50 new hospital projects, $22 billion to build more schools and childcare spaces, $28 billion in roads and highways, and more than $70 billion in transit as we build the largest transit expansion in North America, including new subways and LRT lines right here in the GTA. But we can't build this infrastructure, we can't attract investments and new businesses if we don't have the workers. The numbers speak for themselves. Over 700,000 more people are working today than they were when we took office in 2018, and those are pretty amazing numbers. But there's still over 300,000 jobs going unfilled every single day. And over the next decade, we're going to need an additional 100,000 skilled construction workers just like Preston to help build the critical infrastructure our growing province needs. These are great paying jobs. These are jobs that will build Ontario, and that's why our government is investing over $1.5 billion in our skilled trade strategy, working hand in hand with our labour unions, business groups, our schools, colleges, and universities to train the skilled workforce of the future. Whether it's upskilling workers, training new ones, or breaking down barriers to get skilled immigrants into the province, we're leaving no stone unturned. We know we need to do more to attract young people like Preston to skilled trades. That's why last fall we launched our first ever skilled trades career fairs for students from grades 7 to 12. These fairs were absolutely huge success, with more than 13,000 students, parents, and teachers participating across the province. And friends, today I'm thrilled to announce that we're not only bringing back the fairs for 2023-2024 school year, we're doubling them with more stops, more exhibitions, more for twice as many students. Starting next month, skilled trades career fairs will be held in 10 cities across the province. These fairs will let students explore their future in the skilled trades through interactive exhibitions, hands-on activities, and opportunities to engage with working tradespeople and local employers. It will give over 25,000 students and their families exposure to over 140 trades, from carpentry to welding, from metal fabrication to plumbing. And friends, this is just one of the many initiatives we're taking to connect more young people to good paying jobs and rewarding careers in the construction sector. We're investing in advertising and marketing campaigns to help end the stigma around the trades. We're exposing more young women and men to the trades by modernizing our school curriculum to include mandatory learning about the skilled trades. We've expanded Ontario's dual credit programs and are helping students start their apprenticeship training while still in high school. Together, these programs, these initiatives will help to educate students and parents about the rewarding opportunities in the skilled trades and help us develop a more diverse pipeline for the skilled talent. So together, we can build the cars, the factories, the homes, the hospitals, the roads, critical infrastructure that we need in every region of the province. Thank you again for joining us, and may God bless the people of Ontario. Thank you.
We'll now go to reporters' questions. If you could please line up at the microphone behind me. Please identify yourselves by name and outlet. And just a reminder, it's one question and one follow-up. First question.
Yeah, hi, Premier. Randy Rath from CHCH TV.
Hi, Randy.
The Integrity Commissioner found that Mr. Clark buried his head in the sand while his rookie chief of staff led a chaotic and almost reckless process that was marked by deception. Do you not believe in ministerial accountability like Mr. Clark used to demand from the Liberals when you guys were in opposition?
Yeah, I appreciate that, Randy. I have confidence in Minister Clark. He has a big file. I take full responsibility. The buck stops with me. Minister Clark did mention, and he'll be out today, we understand the process could be better, but our goal at the end of the day is to build 1.5 million homes at minimum. We're going to build them. We're going to do everything we can. We're going to use every single tool we can to make sure people like Preston can afford a home. And as Preston's building these homes, and I can't tell you, last night I had a phone call, and this is real. You know, I get phone calls all the time. This one gentleman, and I could tell he's a new Canadian, that he's been here for a number of years, but you know, he's losing his home because of the interest rates, and he can't afford a home. So we're going to build attainable homes. We're going to use modular units. We're going to use regular traditional build homes. We're leaving no stone unturned, but we're going to build those homes. That's the right thing to do.
You've now got 2 reports from officers of the legislature that found that select developers got an unfair advantage when the government decided which land should be freed from the Greenbelt. Isn't the only way that you can restore public confidence, which seems to be very low right now, in your government by returning those lands to the Greenbelt?
Well, first of all, that's not correct. The Integrity Commissioner said there was no due influence with any developers, and that was pretty clear in his report. So, again, on the Greenbelt lands, I have a message to all the developers: get the shovels in the ground, get started. You know, here's another warning to you. I won't hesitate to put you back in the Greenbelt. I did it with the other land the other day, which I almost fell off my chair when I heard it was up for sale for an industrial park. Like the owners of the land, and I don't give 2 hoots who you are. If you don't follow the rules, you don't build homes, you don't start getting shovels in the ground, guess what? You're done, you're gone, test me out, try me again, you're going back in the Greenbelt, because I'm fed up with it. Absolutely fed up with playing little games, and again, I don't care who you are. You're going back in the Greenbelt unless you start building homes. And again, try me.
Good morning, Premier. Rob Ferguson, Toronto Star.
Yeah.
Back to Minister Clark, and we're aware that he's doing a newser at 12:30 today, but
yes.
I'm just wondering what your standards are for keeping a minister in cabinet. During the pandemic, a former finance minister went to St. Bart's when there were no travel restrictions, and he ended up walking the plank from his portfolio and left cabinet. But now we've got Minister Clark, who's been the subject of 2 damning reports, one from the Auditor General and another from the Integrity Commissioner, and he gets to stay. So what are your standards? Can you give us a delineation of how you look at this and what it would take for a minister to be fired or for you to ask for his resignation?
Well, I appreciate that, Rob. Again, Minister Clark has a tough job, and his goal is to continue building homes. I saw the report. I read a good chunk of it last night, and admittedly, the process could have been a lot better. And I agree. I'll have an opportunity to sit down again with Mr. Clark and discuss the matters. But our number one goal is to continue building these homes for people out there that are in desperate need. And we keep saying 500,000 people are coming to the province. Those are inaccurate figures. The feds came out, and it's not their fault, but it's probably closer to 600,000, 700,000, 800,000 people are arriving here in Ontario, and we're going to have a much bigger crisis if we don't start building homes.
So I didn't really get an answer to what the standards would be. I note that you keep saying the buck stops with me. Yesterday, Minister Clark said also the buck stops with me, but it appears in this case the buck stops with no one because he's still in his job. So where does the buck actually stop?
Well, again, at the end of the day, Rob, I'm responsible for everything that happens in the province, and I always make sure we hold our caucus and our ministers accountable to follow the mandate that we gave them. The mandate we gave Minister Clark was to build homes. We were elected on getting things done. We're going to get them done.
Hi there, Alan Hale from Queen's Park
Hi, Alan.
today. So The buck stops with you, the buck stops with Minister Clark, but there has been no consequences for anybody. Usually when people say that, that is an acceptance of responsibility. You didn't even want to fire Mr. Amato. So can you please explain, like, why are you keeping him in cabinet? Like, is he the indispensable man for you here? Like, are you putting his position over ethics?
No, I'm not at all. But we're going to work with Minister Clark like we work with the other ministers to fulfill our mandate. Our mandate is to build homes. It's as simple as that. And we're going to continue moving forward on that mandate of building 1.5 million homes.
Now, in the report, it's said that while Mr. Amato did not go around telling developers with words that the Greenbelt was being reopened, he did pretty much do everything to tell them with his deeds that it was happening. Now, considering that you were not going to fire Mr. Amato, and you're not going to fire Mr. Clark, apparently, are you saying that you are happy with the way that this was conducted? Is everything in here acceptable to you except for some rushing?
Yeah, no, actually, I think it's been very clear. I'm not happy with the process. We're fixing the process. We took the 14 recommendations off the Auditor General, and we're going to fix the process. Am I happy about the process? I'm not happy at all about it.
Hey, Premier, it's Charlie Pinkerton from the Trillium. In his report yesterday, the Integrity Commissioner described a pattern of deception by the Housing Minister's former Chief of Staff that included throwing around his superiors' names, including your own, to try and advance a policy initiative, the removal of land from the Greenbelt, that the Housing Minister himself was hesitant about. Before Ryan Amato resigned from his position, you were protecting him. Given this, which otherwise I think would be seen as a breach of trust, why were you protecting him? Was it because he was doing what you assigned him to?
Why am I protecting Minister Clark?
Protecting Ryan Amato before he resigned.
I wasn't protecting him. You know, at the time, the information I had, I believe until someone comes out and shows me something different, I'm going to stand by our team members. And Ryan Amato decided to step down. Minister Clark is part of our team and will continue part of our team. And sorry, I'm just reading some of these quotes from on my phone from the Integrity Commissioner. Just one of them. In this matter, I find that neither Minister Clark or Mr. Amato had any close ties, relationship with any of the developers. In fact, I have found that the Premier's office staff were not provided the information and the direction. The Premier's office was kept in the dark. You know, I could go on and on about it, but folks, at the end of the day, you know, I'm not happy with the process. We're changing the process, but I have to build these homes, and we're going to continue building the 1.5 million homes in every corner of this province. Because if I don't build these homes, the crisis that we're in is just going to get worse. And you know, we have some great municipal partners that are working with us. Some are having some challenges for one reason or another. I'm meeting with the federal infrastructure minister this afternoon. But right now, just think, if we didn't build homes, if the province didn't take the bull by the horns, it would be a disaster. We've stepped up. Yeah, has there been bumps in the road? Yes, there has been bumps in the road. But people are going to thank us years down the road for building the attainable, the affordable, nonprofit homes that we're going to be doing and regular homes.
Is your government done with removing land from the Greenbelt?
Right now, I'm done with that, but I want to continue making sure that the lands that we took out of the Greenbelt, people start building on them. The builders need to start moving. I can't stress it enough. And sure enough, as you know, sure as I'm sitting here, one of them are going to screw up, guaranteed, and they're going back into the Greenbelt. I got to make something clear. All I care about is the average person, the people I talk to. A lot of politicians don't get to talk to. These people call me. I don't know how they get my number, but they call me, they talk to me, I meet them in the streets, I meet them in the plazas, and they're struggling. I don't give two hoots about these developers, but they're part of the system. The builders build. What do you want me to do? But I won't hesitate to throw them back in the greenbelt. And that's a small sliver, by the way. This greenbelt, everyone's making such a big deal about. It's a sliver compared to the big problem we have. 50,000 homes compared to 1.5 million homes. And, that's all I want to do is help people. I have no other agenda but to help the common people get a apartment, a condo, a townhome, a detached home. And that's all I care about. That's the only thing I care about.
Good morning, Premier. Colin DeMello with Global News. A lot of people watching right now, a lot of people want to know directly from you. Give us a sense. What does it take for someone in the Ford government to actually be fired?
Well, again, I know, Colin, where you're going with this. I'm going to have confidence in Mr. Clark. I have confidence in my other ministers. We're going to move forward with building homes. That's it.
What people are seeing here after this Integrity Commissioner and Auditor General's report is nothing but incompetence, right? From the Chief of Staff who decided to rush through a process, to the Housing Minister who looked away because he thought it was going to be too politically sensitive, to a Premier who directed his Housing Minister to open up the Greenbelt after promising Ontarians that you would never touch the Greenbelt. But Premier,
okay.
at what point do you take personal responsibility here, and how are people to have trust in your leadership?
Well, thank you for that, Colin, and I'm sure you just walked down the street from your home. That you have a home. But do you know how many people don't have a home, Colin? There's hundreds, there's hundreds of thousands of people that there's hundreds of thousands of people that don't have homes. And yes, 2018, we didn't have a housing crisis. Do you know why we didn't have a housing crisis, Colin? Because there was no jobs here. People weren't coming here. Because the last government lost 300,000 jobs. There was no interest in coming to Ontario. But now, since we've been in office, we've created an environment and condition for people around the world to come to Ontario. Let me finish, Colin. To come to Ontario. When we have a housing crisis, I have two options, Colin. I sit back like the other government did and let the whole province fall apart, or we move forward and we build homes. Because I know you, Colin, a year down the road, if we don't have the homes, you're the first person that's going to be up here saying, why didn't you build the homes? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Well, Colin, guess what? We're going to build homes. We're going to build homes until people have the same opportunity that you have. You have a nice home down the street. But guess what? There's hundreds of thousands of people that don't have your opportunity, that don't have the good paying job that you have. That's the difference.
Hi, Premier. Siobhan Morris from CTV News.
Hi, Siobhan.
I think, to follow up on Colin's question, I don't think that people love the idea of you attacking reporters for where they live. I don't have a home, and I think it's the same thing. How can people have confidence in your government when we see gross incompetence reported both by the Auditor General and by the Ethics Commissioner now about the way that this process was delivered, and you say the buck stops with you, and really there's no change made on the part of the government that the public sees?
Siobhan, first of all, I've been dealing with Colin for 10 years. I give him the utmost respect, and it works both ways. You don't attack me, I don't attack him, but you know something? We've known each other for 10 years. Do we see eye to eye on things some days? Yes, some days we don't. So I'm sorry if I offended his feelings. And Siobhan, you need a home, don't you? You said you don't own a home? That's why we need to build 1.5 million homes. It's as simple as that. And I have confidence in my ministers.
The Integrity Commissioner has recommended a reprimand of Steve Clark. If you say that you are being accountable, the buck stops with you, will you and your government vote in support of that reprimand?
Well, that's going to go to the legislature, and we'll see when we get back into the House in September.
This will be the last question.
Hi, Lorenda Redikoff with CBC News. Reading this report, this is a minister who wasn't doing his job, and that's on your most important file, building those 1.5 million homes. This sounds like a bad deal for taxpayers. They weren't getting their value out of this minister. So what do you say to them?
Well, what I say to those taxpayers, we're building homes. And those same taxpayers, if you don't own a home, you're going to be able to buy a home. What I say to people that are going to look to buy a home, we're going to have an opportunity to go out there and buy an attainable home, have an affordable home, nonprofit homes. We're going to create more rentals. That's what we're going to do. Folks, we have two choices. We walk away and throw up the white flag and say we aren't building. Leave it up to the municipalities to do. Leave it up to the federal government. That's not what we're about. We're a government that gets things done. That's the reason we're leading the world, leading North America in job creation, economic development. It's not because we sit on our hands. It's because we get the job done. We move forward. And what's one of the most important things right now, a crisis that we're seeing, is people that can't afford a home. We have asylum seekers. We have immigrants coming here. I got a call from one of my MPPs out in Aurora that there's 50 people living in churches' basements. I have 170 people in church basements up in Rexdale. You know, you can sit there and go back and forth, or you can get it done. We're going to get it done as a government. We're going to build homes. Thank you.
Follow up, the Integrity Commissioner's report showed that you sent the Housing Minister a mandate letter shortly after the last election. Why didn't you campaign about opening up the Greenbelt and these land swaps?
Well, I think I've answered this before, but I'll answer it again. You know, in the last election, we didn't have a housing crisis. And just up to a few months back, I didn't know the federal government was going to bring in over 500,000. Now we learn that those aren't accurate numbers. It's probably up to 800,000 are arriving. Like, I didn't get a phone call from the minister. I didn't get a phone call from the prime minister saying, surprise, surprise, we're dropping these many people into your province. And by the way, good luck, you deal with them. That's the reason we have to make sure that we use every tool in our toolbox to build homes. So I ran on getting it done. I ran on building homes, making sure that we're building transit and infrastructure in schools and hospitals. And guess what, folks? We're the only government. We do what we say we're going to do. Some people may not like it, but we're going to get it done. Thank you. We do what we say we're going to do. Some people may not like it, but we're going to get it done.